42 reasons why Kamala Harris never stood a chance against Donald Trump. Number 37 is my favorite.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
On the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
So I always got more publicity than other people, and it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me why.
Oh, I could definitely tell you. You said a lot of wild
Maybe.
You said a lot of wild and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild made you much more popular.
Yeah.
And they boosted you in the polls because people were tired of someone talking in this pre-prepared politician lingo. And even if they didn't agree with you, they at least knew whoever that guy is, that's him. That's really him. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Kamala Harris. I'm like, I bet there's a person in there. I bet I can get to that person.
Yeah.
I wanted to find that person. I don't want to hear all the speeches. I don't want to hear, I was raised middle class. I don't want to hear any of that.
She's a roller skater. You know that?
No, I would love to find that out.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to her about all kinds of I literally said, like, because there was a few restrictions of things they didn't want to talk about, but I said, I don't give a I go get her in here. Like, whatever you want to talk about. And they want to know if I edit. I'm like, there's not going to be any editing. There's no editing.
Yeah.
We're not going to edit. But
yeah, that's the same thing they asked us. Is there an edit? You know?
I just wanted to talk.
I mean, that right there should have sealed it for everybody. The fact that you don't want to go on Joe Rogan because you're too scared of the questions he might ask. You would think that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are going to give you pre-planned questions and you have to follow a script. No, the president needs to be able to handle these things. And the fact Kamala Harris was avoiding it with everything in her power goes to show she was not equipped for the position. We are turning the page! This one is a whack job. He's so feminine. This is what the left wants every man to be like.
Come on. That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford. We can do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
I love Twitter.
You should buy it then.
How much is it? Last time America had a candidate this tough was Theodore Roosevelt. I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery.
3 great causes drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent. And now to throw my support to President Trump. The causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children. I'm going to be campaigning actively. I think President Trump is going to make a series of announcements about other Democrats who are joining his campaign, and I want to make America healthy again, and so does President Trump.
I am proud to stand here before you today, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent. If you love our country, as I do, if you cherish peace and freedom as we do, I invite you to join me in doing all that we can to save our country and elect President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House to do the tough work of saving our country and serving the people. Thank you very much.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a registered voter.
I vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Than a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris, because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
I do have to say, Trump does owe a lot to the Amish people, because they were a big part of the reason why he won Pennsylvania. And as we all know, Pennsylvania was probably the most pivotal state in the election. Whoever won Pennsylvania had a great chance of winning it all. Pollsters were absolutely stunned, because they have never seen the Amish come out in droves like they did for Donald Trump in this past election. I guess they were just fed up with the policies of the Democrats and the left, of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. And it goes to show, you can only poke a sleeping bear for so long before it wakes up and eats you. And that's essentially what happened here, with everyday average Americans saying, we've had enough of this nonsense. Bring in someone with common sense.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey. Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walz.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I believe in every word that comes out of her mouth. She's passionate, she's compassionate, she shows empathy, and most of all, she is not delusional. Yeah. Kamala recognized that this country is at risk, that the economy needs to get stronger, that the cost of food and the cost of living is too high. Damn, it's even high for me. I believe her when she says, under her, buying eggs and milk won't break the bank, because she's gonna pass a ban on price gouging on groceries. And she told me that in my face, so she better not lie to me in my face.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limited to what we have seen.
What do you say to those people, especially ones who might be concerned that, doing a big closing argument speech at a place like the Ellipse, maybe leaning more into talking about the threat of Trump to democracy and not the threats that you see to the economy?
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once. I am meeting with a lot of folks, and the work that we have begun is the work that is going to be ongoing. There is no question, and I said this from the very beginning, that our approach to this issue has to be with a commitment to a long-term investment, and it has to be a commitment to consistency. The United States has to be consistent. There were times when we were more engaged and we saw good results. Less engaged, and we can see where the work and the partnerships then deteriorate. So I am committed to ensuring that we engage in an active way on the root causes, on addressing the cause and effect, and also being partners in the Western Hemisphere, understanding that we have a responsibility, and if we ignore that responsibility, it will visit itself upon us in a very domestic way. My approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment, and also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years to catch up to the 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges. I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. We all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
That made no sense.
Well, Bill,
what?
The work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What 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 can be unburdened by what has been. Who we can be unburdened by who we have been. What can be
unburdened by what has been. Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been. What could be, unburdened by what had been. What can be, unburdened by what has 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 been. Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be.
I'm sorry, but who was the person who told Kamala Harris, oh, that's a good line, keep doing that one, keep doing that one, they all love it? That wasn't a good line. It just goes to show somebody in Washington, D.C. actually says something original that they think is insightful. They're just going to keep repeating that on end. I mean, for goodness sake, stop just repeating catchphrases and actually do something for the American people. All the while, when she was repeating these slogans, she was vice president of the United States. Think of all the good she could have done for America, but instead she kept talking to the media, repeating this stupid phrase.
In the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage, but...
Yeah. Well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all.
So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
So you know how those lids on those Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid? So that was that conversation.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
I'm all for people laughing. I like to see people having a good time. But it just seemed that her laugh was so artificial and fake because she could do it in a second if she wanted to. If they went to her and said, Kamala, I want you to laugh in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, she would do that laugh. She'd be able to do it no problem. She's very similar to Hillary Clinton in that way, where she's just a chameleon. She does what people want to hear. But it's actually scary how close we came to a Kamala Harris presidency because this woman has not done or said anything insightful since she entered Washington, D.C., and she was this close to making it to the Oval Office. If you thought Joe Biden was bad, this woman was going to be exponentially worse. But we just have to thank God that Donald Trump is around, and he did not let us down, because I'll tell you what, if he lost this election, I would have never voted again. I would have never had faith in the American voting system, ever. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Were you ever a supporter of Kamala Harris? And if you were going to vote for Kamala, what was it that shifted you over to Trump's side? Let me know, I'd love to hear that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.